Howdy! Welcome to the Say Cheese Podcast. I'm your host, comedian, cheesemonger Jeff Buck. Today sitting with me, we have Danielle Firestone.
That's it.
Gathered that by email. I never actually asked you your last name.
It is Firestone. Good job.
It is Firestone. We know each other through my girlfriend. You're friends with her. I'm obviously friends with my girlfriend, so it worked out. Mutual friends. And you kind of work in the same entertainment industry business. Do you want to share your job title to people?
Oh, my title is very silly, but Hulu has vague titles. But I work at Hulu.
Oh, cool.
And I used to work at FX, so I sort of do insights, consumer insights.
Nice. So you're behind the scenes, kind of. I don't know what consumer insights means. Is that people that are like, why is this showing up on my recommended list? I would never watch this, and then you have to fix the algorithm?
I do not fix anything. I don't produce anything. Okay. I don't do anything, but I look at aggregated data basically that comes in through our call centers.
Oh, cool.
And our customer support or our social support. So if you at Hulu,
you're the one reading it.
I might read it. It's aggregated, so someone else
so you might
people on my team.
So if you guys want to slide into Danielle's DMs, you just have to keep tweeting at Hulu.
At Hulu,
and eventually she may see it.
Yeah, or at Hulu support, and you never know. Your tweet could end up in a presentation to product. I could be like, look at this person and how frustrated they are.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Danielle's living here in Los Angeles. Obviously, where are you originally from?
I'm from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And I found that out because on one of the episodes, I mentioned Wawa, the Wawa store, gas station.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what it is. I mentioned it in passing. I was reading the Cheesy Moments story. I think it was the one I did by myself with bread cheese.
Yeah, it was your solo.
And it was, and I just said, I don't know, maybe there's more than one of those. I'm not really sure.
It was so funny.
And you texted Liz, I can't believe Jess doesn't know what Wawa is. And you're not the only person. More people were like, how did you not know what Wawa is?
It's
I
so
got a lot of flack for that.
Yeah, it's beloved.
So is it a Pennsylvanian specific?
Yeah, it's regional to Philly, but it's spread a little bit, but they really have kept it regional. They're not trying to expand. Sort of like an In-N-Out situation.
Got it. But it's not food. It is food. But the
food is what makes it so special.
Oh, okay.
So the gas station part is like any gas station really, but then there's I guess you said a fancy gas station. The convenience store part of it is sort of fancy, but it's not exactly fancy. It's just the best. It's gonna have everything you need.
Okay.
Before you go on the road or when you're on the road.
I'm thinking Buc-ee's. Have you ever traveled to Texas or the South? So there's a gas station chain called Buc-ee's in the South, and it's they pride themselves on having the world's best bathrooms.
Oh, wow.
And they are pretty clean. There's no bidets in them, though, so step it up, Buc-ee's.
Liz would not approve.
A Buc-ee bidet I would buy. Anyhow. But yeah, so it's just kind of it's like a Walmart of gas stations, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great hoagie shop. Hoagies is what we call it in Philly. But it just has everything you could want
so you can get hoagies,
out of a convenience store.
Maybe.
Sure, and the best coffee.
And they have cheese.
Soft pretzels, and they have self-serve kiosks, and you order any kind of hot food. Now they have all sorts of crap, flatbreads and mac and cheese and
so they definitely have cheese there then.
So much cheese.
String
cheese and Baby Bell, all the grab and go cheeses.
Your road cheeses that you need.
Yeah.
That's cool. So shout out to Wawa. Glad we got to
not closed is really what I came on here to say.
Yeah. Did you grow up in Pennsylvania eating a lot of cheese?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it wasn't purposeful. But cheese is so important to everything.
Okay.
As a child. Pizza, mac and cheese, of course.
Right.
But my favorite food, I'm part Italian, and growing up was chicken parm.
So Parmesan, chicken parm. Mm-hmm. Was it okay, because I guess it was I'm trying to remember now. My mom had a chicken Parmesan recipe. But it was a melted mozzarella.
It's mozzarella, yeah. Why do they call it Parmesan?
Grate it. I think you grate Parmesan on top.
Well, it's not Parmesan. It's not Parmesan. It's chicken Parmigiana.
Oh, okay.
It's spelled differently than.
I'm so ignorant.
We are all ignorant. It's just it's fine. Just take the Italian, take the American.
Just just rage at me. I can see it now. Anyways, chicken parm had mozzarella on it, but also you grate Parmesan cheese on top.
Yeah.
Not actually stood for chicken Parmesan. So you ate some cheese, the standard kid cheese, grilled cheese, cheese pizza, chicken parm, because you're a bougie kid.
Yeah, that's what I got at Italian
Artisanal
restaurant.
cheeses, though, did you get into those more? Like Bries and Goudas?
As I got older, I would say, like became more of a thing. Brie was probably the first fancier cheese that I ventured into.
I've yet to meet a guest, really, that's like, yes, ever since I was 6, I was eating a truffle Moliterno
Until your
Italian
kids.
cheese. I don't know, maybe. Maybe
We'll see.
You're going to suffer just like I did. Here, have a Kraft single grilled cheese on wheat bread.
You don't get to know yet.
Yeah.
It's like giving your like young kids like really good wine. It's like they don't really know. Why waste the good wine on them?
Yeah, give them like this, just mix vodka and grape juice. And
Right.
like, here you go.
Yeah, that's just get drunk.
Your Costco vodka with your Welch's grape juice. There, have a sip of that. Sweet. Well, today the cheese that Danielle and I will be talking about is a pasteurized goat's milk cheese called Wabash Cannonball. I picked it because Wabash sounds like Wawa. No, I was like, I don't know.
Fun.
We didn't have any Pennsylvanian cheeses, so
That's
I was like,
okay.
I'll just pick this one.
We're not known for our cheese.
The cheese is made by the Capriole Farmstead in Indiana. Have you ever had this cheese before?
No.
Looks like a cannonball.
Yeah,
Kinda
that was
looks like
accurate.
a small cannonball or like a brain or a golf ball of some sort. But Wabash Cannonball is made in Greenville, Indiana. Greenville, Indiana, it's about 23-minute drive northwest of Louisville, Kentucky. So I've actually talked about this farm before on the podcast. We did our Sophia episode. So some of this information will be regurgitated. I'll try and just kind of go through it quickly. If you want to know, I say you or the listeners, if you want to know more about the farm, go back to that Sophia episode. I give a lot more details on that. But, so the state capital of Indiana is Indianapolis. I've joked about it before. I think that's a very lazy name for a capital of a city.
Absolutely.
It's like...
What other ones are there? Appolises.
I don't know. I think
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis, is that in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Right. So Minneapolis and Indianapolis. But there's no, like, California Annapolis.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania. There should be, though. I think that's clever.
I'm thinking of the word metropolis now.
Right.
They must have the same
Wasn't
root.
that like right, because it's like a metropolis.
Like
what was I don't know.
Acropolis.
What was that?
I don't know.
That sounds familiar.
It's like a
Acropolis.
Greek.
I feel like that sounded like the name of a level in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh
like
gosh.
the Macropolis level. That's a very deep cut.
Not a video game.
Not what you were going for?
Mario
Okay.
Kart is where I stop.
Mario Kart could be a racetrack in Mariopolis.
Okay, there you go.
That's
Yeah.
like the track. You just drive around his hat or something, and there's buildings on it, and
Yeah.
it's called Mariopolis.
I'm down.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. I'm on board.
So anyways, Indianapolis. This is in Greenville, about 2-hour drive south of Indianapolis. The flag of Greenville, the town where this cheese is made, was designed by a 5th grader in 1969. So I showed this last time to Georgia. That's the flag. Pretty good design for a 5th grader.
It is
I
good.
feel like they touched it up.
I don't think they drew that freehand.
That's what we said.
Yeah.
It had to have been a stencil.
They just came up with the concept.
Or they like tried to draw a buffalo and they're like, oh, okay,
They were like,
let's
this
just
is
make it a real buffalo.
Yeah, they're like, this is the idea, man, and now we're gonna go over to
The
design.
5th grader was the idea, man.
Yeah.
They brought in a professional. I don't know. If you were in 5th grade and you had to make a flag of your hometown.
Is that a thing?
No, I mean
There
it was
flags for everyone
It was in
hometown?
1969.
Now I want to look up my
5th grader got to.
town's possible home flag.
Yeah, but say you're in 5th grade.
Okay.
What do you think you would have put on your hometown's flag?
Wow. Okay. 10-year-old me, so unexposed to the world. I mean, maybe Wawa. That's just like coming up fresh, but
Wawa flag.
yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
My
I probably
town's
would have put down like a Pokemon on the flag or something.
Oh,
That's
I
probably
see.
what I was into.
I would have tried to represent the city. Like, I would
Yeah.
have been very concerned with that
Yeah.
aspect of the flag.
Not me, 5th grade. You're just like, make a flag, but I'm gonna draw an anime character. That's what I'm into right now.
Oh no, it was very serious. I created a business in 4th grade.
What?
Yeah.
So you probably could have created the
Maybe,
your
but
hometown flag in 5th
I didn't know much about
What
it.
business did you create in 4th grade?
Me and like these 2 other kids we were all in the gifted program. We sold pencils and erasers and shit for like money, and we would write little
To the other
receipts
kids?
to the other kids.
Wow, you were hustling school
We
supplies.
really were. They were a big deal. I don't
Was
know.
there like another kid that worked for you guys that would go steal them?
I think it was an equal three-way partnership. I don't know. But we did get told on. Someone told on us.
Wow. So this was I thought this was like a school project.
No.
You guys were like, create a business.
We were like in the back of the class,
were no, we're gonna,
hey, who wants a sparkly pencil?
You were dealing in 4th grade, but instead of drugs, it was, I mean, entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's what we didn't know.
And look at you now, you're at Hulu. Who knew that hustling pencils and erasers would bring you this far?
It's crazy when you put it like that.
I sold bootleg gangster rap CDs in high school.
Wow. Were you successful?
I was.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Then the streaming services and internet became more popular, and people were like, we don't need to pay you. We know how to work a computer. Damn it.
That's the story of our time.
I know. You know, you couldn't sell pencils forever.
No.
You know, Lil Boosie eventually went to jail. I couldn't sell his music forever. But hey, I tried. All right, anyways, let's move on. So this is made at the Capriole Goat Cheese Farm. We've talked about this cheese farm before, like I said. It is owned by Judy and her husband Larry. Some cool history of their farm. I'll try and do a quick synopsis. They I guess Larry found out when they wanted to get a farm, they picked that one. They're like, this one just feels right, and then it turned out Larry's great-great-grandfather or something actually owned it at some point.
Oh wow!
He didn't even know, so it was like destiny.
Wow.
So it's a destined farm, you know.
Yeah.
So I like to think. So technically, it was home for him. It sits on these limestone hills that are called knobs. So they refer to their little hills as the knobs, their farm as the knobs.
That's cute.
Yeah, they've got over 50 animals.
With a K?
What's that?
Knobs with a K?
With a K,
Okay.
yeah. How do you smell knobs otherwise?
I was just wondering if it was some other hill term that
I
didn't have a K.
Yeah, you never know. Those hill language is
right.
weird, man.
Yeah.
I can't think of a specific word, but I know what you're saying. It's just a guy in a monster truck. Or not monster truck. In a truck drinking Monster Energy. It could be a monster truck, too. Hill people are weird, man. Not these guys, though. They're great. What are we at again?
Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're great. You got to know how to spell knobs correctly when it comes to hill talk. I'll tangent on this. I'll entertain this idea. We went up to Big Bear recently, Liz and I, and it was a great trip and all, but it's a mountain town. Something about mountain towns, those hill people, those mountain folk.
Yeah.
It's just you can tell they all appreciate the tourism because it brings their town money, but there's something an eerie feeling that they all also just didn't like any of the tourists either.
Yeah.
You know? I guess I would feel that way too.
I can understand.
In a small town that was a big tourist destination. LA is big touristy, but it's so big that you can escape it if you want.
Totally.
Whereas there, it felt impossible to escape the touristy aspects of it.
Hopefully they know how, the locals.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
But every time I pass one, they're just like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. You're here for firewood and s'mores. You know, it's the sleds are to your right. You know, it's the same shit every day.
For sure. That was kind of how it was when I went to Idlewild, too, with Liz also. Yeah, it was very much the same thing.
Yeah. Those are kind of cool towns, but I always think it's you have such a good time visiting them, but I always start to think, could I actually live here? Would I enjoy
the answer's
this 24/7? It's hard.
Sorry.
Hard to know. So anyways, so Capriole, this Capriole farm, they are one of the oldest and most award-winning goat cheese producers in the United States. So they've won all types of awards for their cheeses, including Wabash Cannonballs. Anyhow, so yeah, let's talk about this ball of cheese here. It is a cannonball. It kind of looks like a cannonball. Kind of looks like maybe a small brain. Some say it looks like a testicle. It's all about perspective. How would you describe it?
Yeah, I liked the cannonball, but I liked the brain better once you said that, but you had to suggest it to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got
because it's got a flat little bottom. Yeah, and it's got those. I understand the testicle part too.
Do you ever watch Ninja Turtles?
As a child, yeah.
Remember the brain crane? He took over. See, Ninja Turtles would have been on my flag in 5th grade too, for sure.
I loved it, but I don't recall.
Kind of looks like the brain. Anyone that might know what I'm talking about, I think his name is Crane. Looks like that guy from Ninja Turtles a little bit.
Yeah, everyone else will know.
In a good way. So the cannonball, the Wabash Cannonball, is dusted with ash and left to mature and age in just 10 days. So this could be as early as 7 to 10 days, as late to up to, I think it's 5 weeks is kind of the shelf life. So I think this guy is only a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks old. It's pretty new, pretty fresh. When it's young, it's like thin-skinned, white, and slightly wrinkled, which is kind of what this one is.
Mm-hmm.
Very white, slightly wrinkled, and pretty thin. But as it starts to ripen, the Geotrichium candidum rind, which is the mold on this, it's significant in a minute, becomes more wrinkled, allowing the ash to shine through. So you can kind of see a little bit of the ash in it. There's vegetable ash that is around it to help it age and ripen. And that's coming through underneath that mold a little bit here. And then the actual like density of the cheese inside becomes denser the closer you get up to like 3-5 weeks. It could even be crumblier if you want. I'm gonna guess we haven't cut into this one yet, but I'm gonna guess it's more of like a creamier interior, not quite as crumbly. This is unique. Any questions so far? Sorry,
no,
I'm doing a lot of the talking here.
It's great. I'm learning so much. I do have a lot of questions though.
Go
Maybe
ahead,
I should write them down.
You can ask now.
Okay, just like cheese logistics. Like, so some cheeses you keep for age for years, and some a week. So how do they like?
So I think that basically comes down to just the type of like molding and milk and process. So like every cheese is different. So like this is just it's all like, think of it as like a science experiment or science.
But
like
they gotta ship this cheese every week. Versus other cheeses where they, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's got to, like, leave the farm at a different rate than other cheeses.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just wild.
It is
because
yeah. So this one, they could make it every, like...
You're like, what's the question?
Every 5 weeks. No. And it's also a seasonal cheese, though, I think. So that it's not like they're making this year-round.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I guess they could be making it every... I'm sure they make batches, like, every week or so. But, yeah. And then whereas there's some like, I don't know, you have like a 15-year age cheddar that's just sitting in its like cave or whatever for 15 years. But that's usually why those like longer age cheeses tend to be more expensive as well though. And they're a little more special.
I put cheese in the same category as mushrooms because both of them are like, why would a human eat that?
Yeah.
Mold and then fungus.
Yeah, it's a living thing. In a way, it's a living food.
Yes.
In its own way, yeah. It's mold.
Yeah.
But it's good mold. I mean, same with mushrooms.
Yummy.
So you're not wrong on that. Interesting, unique thing about this mold, though, specifically, is like traditional French chefs were sweeter and more delicate because they were made with Geotrichium mold, which is the type of mold here, rather than like the penicillium mold that, what was I saying? That Judy was originally using for her cheeses. So she was like, she wanted her like goat cheese to be more like those French chefs, more delicate, more light. In order to do that, she had to use the Geotrichium mold, but there was no commercial distributor of that within the States. So she teamed up with the cheese nun, who is a microbiologist, Noella Marcelino, an actual nun who calls herself a cheese nun. She has like books and videos and things out. And she's from the Order of St. Benedict. I don't know, are the owners of where I work know her and are friends with her. She seems like a very sweet lady. Hopefully I get to meet her one day. She wears like the full nun outfit and a little microscope around her neck and everything. There's a picture of her right there holding.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, cheese is very popular. I mean, it was very popular amongst monks and nuns and things of that sort. So it only makes sense that the cheese nun exists.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
I guess it was just like a lot of them were just farming. Whenever like I guess monks, they just like would settle and farm and make their little monasteries. And
I guess you
like
got to be patient.
Yeah.
And like just waiting is part of.
So I don't know the actual answer, but that would be my most educated guess.
Yeah.
Anyways, right? There's like you've heard of those like beer making monks too, right?
I haven't, but I know monks have all sorts of hobbies.
Yeah. Sounds really cool to be a monk.
Dude, sometimes I'm like, I might just leave this entire city and just go do that.
Yeah. There's a lot of rules, though, that I'm like, I don't know if I could stick with that. But
I'm super into meditation, so, I mean, I definitely could. I don't know that I want to.
Hey, man.
But it's possible.
Do it.
If everything gets
selling
too
pencils
much.
to working for Hulu to just being a monk.
Yeah, there you go.
Seems like a smart trajectory to me. It seems like a clear cut. Like,
Yeah.
it went from A, B to C. How did she get there? It's obvious.
No questions, right. Yeah.
You know? Clear trajectory. Anyways, so I think I've talked about it enough. Let's go ahead and eat it. What do you expect this cheese to taste like before we eat it?
I guess I'm just expecting a classic goat taste, which
Classic
is
goat taste.
not that flavorful, depending. Ooh, it's so cute.
We'll cut it so you can kind of see the inside of it. See, even when you cut it, it kind of looks like a golf ball.
Yeah, an oversized golf ball.
Yeah. So you say you don't expect it to be too flavorful, kind of just like a...
I feel like a lot of the goat cheeses I have are not. They're just like creamy and...
Here, you can just...
Is that wrong?
Take whatever piece you want. No, it's not wrong. I'm just... No, there's no right or wrong answer to this. You can smell it, see what it smells like. It's pretty funky smell.
Pretty pungent.
It smells like a barn a little bit. There's a small cream line. That's like that outer little ring there.
Oh. What's it called?
A cream line.
A cream line. What? And that's just happens, and there's no.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like.
Does every cheese have a cream line?
Not every cheese, but a lot of them do. Especially you'll find them in like bries and goat cheeses and things like that. It's almost like it's melting away.
It's a little crumbly.
Did you eat it?
No.
Oh, eat it.
Is it time to eat it?
Yeah,
Okay.
eat it. Sorry.
I didn't want to preempt.
All right, now we're eating it. It's good. Tastes like goat cheese for sure.
Yep.
What do you think?
It's pretty much what I was expecting.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a little tart. You're right. It's not too flavorful. Not too much of a... Sometimes, like a goat or sheep's cheese will have that like very like goaty, sheepy. A lot of people like to say barnyard flavor, petting zoo flavor. Doesn't really come out there. It's pretty light. But it's firm. It's not as crumbly.
Lactose intolerant people can have goat cheese, right?
Goat and sheep, yeah, it's a little more easier on their digestive system.
Yeah, that's good to know. So many of those folks out there.
There are a lot.
That was so sweet when you talked about, you were like, Liz, my partner is lactose intolerant and I can't like present her all this cheese that would usually be an easy win. So I have to work harder. And I was like, that's so sweet.
It's true. It kind of sucks though, you know?
Like, yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh. Believe me, going to dinners alone, I'm like, okay, we can't share that.
I also have some fig jam here. You can pair it with if you want, or a little fig spread.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is good. I'm going to put it on a cracker.
I love being told what to pair with stuff because I have no idea. But if you tell me, I'm like,
They
down.
suggest online with this, it'd be good like putting it in a salad or even spreading it on a fig and then wrapping that in bacon and then like skewering that. Sorry, I didn't do that today. I didn't get all fancy.
It's all right.
But I got some fig spread.
This is bomb. Yeah, this is great.
It tastes really good. We'll talk about the origin of the name Wabash Cannonball real quick. Kind of nerded out on this a little bit. Do you want to take a guess why it's called Wabash Cannonball?
I have no guesses.
Okay. So Wabash Cannonball is originally like a song. It's like an old folk song, and then the song was about a train. I can't remember the lyrics. I could pull it up in a minute. But the origin of that song is speculated. There are many theories that the origin of the Wabash Cannonball is that the hobos imagined a mythical train called the Wabash Cannonball, which was a death coach that appeared at the death of a hobo to carry his soul to its reward. The song was then created with the lyrics and music telling the story of the train. When the hobos learned of this train, they called her the Wabash Cannonball and said that every station in America had heard her whistle.
When was this?
That was, I mean, the song is as early as like the 1920s, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe even early. I think it dates back to like 1880 or something.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a pre-industrial revolution song. Well, trains, but like right at that time when...
Like people like Johnny Cash did a rendition of it.
Oh.
Chuck Berry.
Wow.
There's like 500 different versions of this. I think it's originally called like the Rock Island Promise or Promise Rock, some weird name like that, where they mentioned Wabash Cannonball. They call it the Wabash Cannonball, the train, in the song. So then all these musicians started like doing their own renditions of it, calling it Wabash Cannonball. And then there was some sort of train from Detroit to somewhere that they like Amtrak named that line the Wabash Cannonball for a little bit.
Wow.
But a lot of people think the song was named after that train, but it's actually the other way around. The train never existed, so they named the train after the song. And so obviously, Judy is a fan of the song, maybe, or the history of it, and named this the Wabash Cannonball, probably because it also looks kind of like a cannonball.
Yeah.
And then I saw somewhere that, like, Indiana, the college in Indiana, that the marching band plays that song a lot. Oh. So maybe it's just it's a popular song amongst Indiana, probably.
That's very interesting. I had a good friend who lived in Indianapolis. I can ask her.
Yeah,
she came across
heard of it.
Yeah.
Another story states that the song is based on a tall tale in which Cal S. Bunyan, Paul Bunyan's brother, constructed a railroad. By the way, I've never heard of Paul Bunyan's brother. I vaguely remember the story of Paul Bunyan, like he cut down a bunch of trees so people could lay down railroad tracks, but it was never like a guy in the background like, that's my brother. No. Come on, let's lay these railroads down. Very weird. But anyways, tall tale in which Cal S. Bunyan, his brother, constructed a railroad known as the Ireland Jerusalem Australia. Sorry, I just slurred Jerusalem. Australian and Southern Michigan line. After 2 months of service, the 700-car train was traveling so fast that it arrived at its destination an hour before its departure. Finally, the train took off so fast that it rushed into outer space, and where, for all is known, it is still traveling. So, that's an old tale where they feel... Right. Yeah. So, who knows? Who knows what you want to believe? I'm going to go with the hobo death train.
I love the hobo death train.
I like that story more than the outer space knockoff Paul Bunyan train. But, to each their own. So, aside from all that, what do you think of this cheese overall? Would you, if you wanted to rate it on a scale, make up your own scale, doesn't matter. Also, feel free to eat as much as you eat.
Okay. I want to say, do you listen to Dak Shepard's podcast ever?
No, does he talk about cheese?
No, I don't think
Dak Shepard is
ever.
the guy from... I know him. Well, he's a comedian.
Yes.
I know his roles. He's been in movies. What movie? He looks like...
Without a Paddle, I think is his movie. I know him best from Parenthood. Yeah, so he has a podcast, and they talk a lot about misophonia on it. Do you know about misophonia?
No, what's that?
So you were doing this cheese eating with someone. You're like, this is the ASMR part of the podcast, and it made me think about misophonia because ASMR is like when someone likes the crinkle. This is the sound of me opening this. Misophonia is for people who have severe irritation or maybe even more severe reactions to sounds, like someone eating with their mouth open, that kind of thing.
So it's like ASMR is their kryptonite.
Yeah. Well, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the overlap would go, but I was just like, this is more leaning towards misophonia than the ASMR thing, but I don't know because I'm not on that spectrum.
I hear you.
I'm in the middle of the bell curve, not on those ends.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Misophonia.
Misophonia.
Misophonia. Yeah, 'cause it's like a FOMO.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
just here to inform.
Yeah,
spread knowledge from podcast to podcast.
Yeah. That's all you do. You just go from every podcast.
That would be my dream. Are you kidding?
That would be a fun job to have, for sure. Be a paid.
What are you promoting in all these podcasts?
Guest.
Nothing. The next podcast I'm going to be
my
on.
Personality. That's what it is.
Yeah.
People are just like, that's the podcast guest. It's just their name. Okay. I'm going to look more into that for sure. But if you were to rate this cheese on a scale,
yes.
What would you...
Okay, I don't know about creative scales, but on a scale of 1 to 10...
Classic scale. I mean, you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. Everyone gets it. We're all on board.
It's probably one of the original scales out there.
Yeah.
We all know it. Some of our viewers, they get into the more weird scales, and I'm glad that you brought a classic because I'm getting tired of, on a scale of green to opaque orange or whatever. I don't know.
I'm not even
what's
gonna
going on?
attempt it. Yeah.
So
Leave
anyway,
it
1 to 10.
to your Hulu Insights gallery. Classic numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give it an 8.
An 8?
It's a solid,
Up there.
great cheese.
Nice.
Especially because people who are lactose intolerant can have it. That really.
Go. And it's beautiful. So you give it an 8 out of 10. 10 being the highest, I imagine.
Yeah. What do you give it?
I would give it around like a 7, probably.
Okay.
7.
I did pretty well.
I love it a lot. It's not my favorite goat cheese. That we've had their other cheese on here, Sophia. That's one of my favorites of theirs. So I'd rate that one higher maybe, but it's still a lovable cheese, and it's also just like fun one to put on a board because of its shape and texture. People are like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
You know?
I never thought about that. Like when you do a cheese board, you might want to have one that's not cut and then one that is, so your guests can see its original form.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a piece of art in a way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cheesy moments.
Well, that sound you just heard there means it's time for our cheesy moment. I know you didn't actually hear the sound, but you've listened to this podcast enough to know that there was a sound. And that is the running gag of all these episodes until I get bored with it. So for those that don't know, Cheesy Moment section is the part of the podcast where listeners email some stories in of their life involving cheese. They could be negative, positive, funny, sad. Doesn't matter as long as cheese is involved. If you have a cheesy moment you want us to share onto the podcast, email us at saycheesepodcast@gmail.com. I don't have any stories today because our fans don't love me. I'm checking now because I did make a post to see if anyone had one. So unless I have gotten one in the last 2 hours. Wait, maybe? No, I don't think so. Anyhow, moving on. Danielle, you prepared some.
I have, and I have 2, so we'll just take up
we'll take
both of those
time.
slots. Yeah.
Sweet. So you've came prepared with some cheesy moments. Excited to hear. Whenever you're ready, rattle them off. Let's hear it.
All right. So the first one that came to mind was a typical classic stoner cheesy moment.
Okay.
So like in college at some point, I was hanging out with my friend's house. Shout out to Allie.
Allie,
and
shout out.
Allie, shout out, and her little brother Nate, and we used to just like make tons of grilled cheeses and like other grilled sandwiches when we were stoned at night. And we eventually were like, we should make this a real thing, and like start a food truck with all these fancy grilled cheeses, like in my hometown in Bethlehem. And her little brother, who like at the time, like if we were in college, I don't know, he's like 4 years younger, so young kid. He named it TRC for the rapey cheese.
Oh,
I know.
Why?
And why did we like?
And you were okay
think it was so funny? Like we didn't actually like. Well, okay, it was like I guess it was the real cheese and the rapey cheese, but it was definitely the rapey cheese first, and we just stuck with TRC.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then you were like, we gotta call it the real cheese. But inside baseball, we know what we want.
Yeah, it was a very.
Did you call it that because it had a way of just like you'd bite it and be like,
We'd have to ask Nate, you know?
Yeah, it was his idea.
It was his idea. It was I don't know, he's probably 17, 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, so at that age, you're like...
Yeah,
you know,
everything's about...
Ugh.
Well, I mean...
Was he a college athlete?
This was pre-Me Too. Yes.
Oh, boy.
He was a football player.
I'm not throwing Nate...
No. Nate's a great guy.
Don't eat any grilled cheeses from Nate.
He never expected this to be on a podcast.
Yeah, well...
This was pre-LA for all of me.
Well, it doesn't matter. We're here now. And in an attempt to avoid being canceled, I've got to say, Nate, I don't condone it, and we're out to get you now, okay?
I agree.
What types of real grilled cheeses did you have out there?
Yeah, we put like a lot of just like tomato and onion in them, but I don't know that the cheeses were specifically fancy.
Okay.
Just like some sliced, you know.
Yeah, deli cheese from wherever.
Yeah.
From Wawa.
Yeah.
Wherever. Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I was a part of a group called TLF, which is Team Loaded Fries.
Nice.
So that's what TRC reminded me of. And it was just like we would...
See, acronyms.
We would once a week, we'd go out, and we'd take turns, like, who was in charge of where we'd go out for a week. This lasted for, like, a month before we were like, this is dope. But I thought it was fun. I still rep it. I always say, Team Loaded Fried to the day I die, and I'll forever rep it, even though all 4 members, we've all disbanded from one another, but whatever. I stand my ground.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So we would all go out, and then at the end of the night, we'd go to this like fast food place called Rallies, and we'd get their loaded fries. And that's how we'd end the night. We're like, all right, you guys ready for the loaded fry? And then we'd go there, team loaded fry. It was dumb.
What was it loaded with?
Oh, man, it was like chili and cheese.
Yeah.
It was gross.
Yeah.
But it was like, at that age, we're just like getting drunk.
Right.
And then,
why are cheese fries so good when you're drunk?
Yeah, there's a science to that.
Yeah.
John Taffer, we need bar science on this.
Yeah.
John Taffer would
Okay.
know.
Okay, yeah.
Is Hulu producing John Taffer's new show?
I have no idea.
He's got a new show. I think it maybe, I don't know where it's coming on, but he's got a new show where it's no longer, so he did the bar rescue. Now he's doing marriage rescue.
Oh, no.
I know.
Wait, so he's like an expert in both of these things?
Apparently. I just want to know what the stress test is for John Taffer's marriage.
Oh my
I'm gonna have
gosh.
sex with your wife. How are you gonna react? Like what? What
That's
is that?
so funny. Allie and her brother love Bar Rescue.
I love bar rescue.
I like wouldn't know what
Me
that
and my
was
brother
without
used
her.
to watch that all the time. Anyhow, very esoteric references on today's episode.
There you go.
I'm enjoying it.
Old time TV.
You have a second cheesy moment?
I do. This one's more related to cheese.
Okay.
Okay, so when I studied abroad my junior year of college, I went to Amsterdam on like a weekend trip, and there's a cheese museum in Amsterdam. Have you been to Amsterdam?
I've heard about it. Is it the Gouda one?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have any further. I didn't do research.
Honestly, I think I think there probably is more than one cheese museum.
Oh. Well, there's one that's like in the central area. Maybe they're competing ones, and I don't know.
Cool. Who knows?
But yeah, I went with with a few friends, and the one, he was like in a leather jacket, and he just kind of looked more like, not great. I don't know, not like an upstanding citizen, I suppose, but he's fine. He actually bought cheese, but they wouldn't let him have samples because of how he looked. But he actually bought cheese. Meanwhile, my friend and I, who were like two short little white girls, had millions of free samples and didn't buy any cheese.
Wow.
I know.
So horrible.
He was white too, but
Classist though, They're
yeah,
like,
it was.
"This bum."
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But they were cool to let us have the free samples,
That's
and
why
the cheese was dope.
I try to aesthetically look like a homeless person, because then it sees who's real and who's not
Yeah.
out there. Because
It's like the classic thing, like how do people treat the wait staff or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
How do people treat Jeff Buck?
yeah, I'm like, this guy looks washed up. I'm close to being it, but some people treat you differently when you have a haircut and when you don't. So who knows?
It's very
That's unfortunately sad. But how was that? It was good. The samples were great.
It was great. It was fun. I didn't like.
Was it all Gouda cheese? Because if it was all Gouda, I think I know.
I don't. It was so long ago now, so I don't remember. And I was gonna go back when I was in Amsterdam recently, but didn't make it.
I've never traveled abroad.
Oh no.
I need to get out of
Yeah.
the States while I still can. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Who knows? Well, Danielle, I think we'll wrap it up on this episode featuring Wabash Cannonball. I want to thank Judy and the hardworking team members at Capriole Cheeses for all her hard work on producing this cheese. Thank you, DTLA Cheese, for providing the cheese we're eating today. They're one of my favorite cheese shops in Los Angeles. I work there, that's why. So if you want to try this cheese, come by. Even if you're not in the area, it's worth the trip downtown LA. We don't get enough love. Come by the Grand Central Market and eat some Wabash Cannonball. And of course, thank you, Danielle, for being on the podcast today. Do you have anything you want to share? Any social media accounts you want to get out there? Any events, projects, anything?
Nah, just.
I remember when we first met, you talked about creating a dating app.
Oh gosh! Don't spoil my app idea.
Okay, I won't put it out there in case you're trying to get it patented. But I will say it was a good idea.
Yeah, no, I've got a lot of ideas. I'm that idea guy who made that flag, that fifth grader. We're on the phone all the time. But nothing.
This is why you're always on podcasts.
Yeah, that's why I'm hopping around.
You've got great ideas. We're like, you got to get Danielle on. She'll give you all
She's
the
not going to
ideas.
execute any of them,
Yeah,
but
she'll give you the good ones.
She'll talk about it.
It's true.
Yeah, I think I would. My partner who came up with the app would be really upset if I just talked about it.
No worries.
You know what I mean?
I'm just excited.
Who knows? We're never going to make it though. It's like
I will say, when you do make it, because I have faith, come back on this podcast and we'll get it out there.
Okay, there you go. But I do want to plug Hulu support.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's my jam. That's where I live,
Hulu
and
support.
we care. Like we know that there's improvements to be
If you're
made.
ever on Hulu and you're like, why is this thing this way? Tweet at Hulu support.
Yeah, it's
And,
at Hulu_support.
Oh, sorry. Wait, someone already had Hulu support?
I don't.
Someone beat y'all to it. They're like, Hulu's a thing. I'll be the one.
I think like people usually just at Hulu, but then Hulu support ats back. They're the ones who
gotcha.
reply. They're like, let's get this off the at Hulu main thread there.
Let's scrub it off of their look. That's funny. Well, beautiful. You can find me at Funny as Buck across all platforms, even Venmo. Go ahead and shoot me whatever you want. Go ahead and follow the podcast itself at Say Cheese Pod account on Twitter, Instagram, where we post visual content like videos and things like that to aid with the podcast. And come out to Grand Central Market every Tuesday where we do our Say Cheese Showcase, where I have comedians doing stand-up. Hopefully I know when this one will come out. So if you're listening to this, the next Tuesday will be, let me think if I'm getting this right. Will Miles and Molly Rubin Long and Justin Lane. So Will Miles is one of the writers for Southside Chicago. He's done a bunch of cool stuff, and Molly Rubin Long is been on this podcast for, as has Justin Lane. Both great comedians. Molly runs a show in downtown LA every month at Little Easy. I'm talking enough about all that. Just go to this show every Tuesday at Grand Central Market. It's good. It's great. I'm going to go ahead and take a picture for the Instagram account, if that's cool with you, and I'll just screen cap this. So just lean in. We'll count it down. 1, 2, 3.